Today, introduction at the Capitol about the digital asset anti-money laundering bill. Next. We're going to go over that particular bill as well as all the articles surrounding it. And we're going to have Mr. Wonderful. Yes, we have a video with him in it. Several other articles, including, is Binance really in trouble? I mean, we had that conversation yesterday. All today on OG Crypto and NFTs. Welcome, everyone. My name is Troy, and every day we go over digital assets and NFTs. And yes, I know you've been waiting on her. Producer Emi will be in today's video. Yeah, I saw your comments below. I know she's more popular than me. I get it. But let's jump right into it. Here's CoinDesk. It says U.S. Senator Warren Marshall introduced digital assets anti-money laundering bill. Let's get right down to it. You can launder money in any kind of fiat. It doesn't matter. Any kind of cryptocurrency. I think that they are looking at putting a bill together that is going to go way over the top. So if I had $1 bills, are you telling me that $1 bills or $50 bills or USD, United States dollars, doesn't get laundered more than any other currency in the world ever? But yes, of course, if you have laundering bills out there or laws out there, why aren't you just adding cryptocurrencies to it? Why are you putting separate laws on the books because of it? And this is what the exchange, and I really like it. Thank you, Weezy, for this. On Twitter, I want you to go over this exchange that happened between Senator Warren and Mr. Wonderful. I think he does a really good job, even though he's been like the anti-crypto guy, at least the pro-SPF guy. He is absolutely pro-crypto as well.
So, Mr. O'Leary, I know that you are a big supporter of crypto, even after you lost 10 million.
Sorry.
$10 million in FTX's collapse, but you are an experienced investor. So let me ask you, do you believe that the potential benefits of crypto are so promising that we should accept weaker anti-money laundering rules and weaker compliance from crypto firms than we require from banks, from brokers, and from Western Union?
No, I think we should apply the same regulatory structure that we apply to existing trading of stocks and bonds on exchanges tied to broker-dealers. That is not complicated. It's already been implemented in other countries. And so, and I take issue, Senator, with your concept that it makes it easier to do money laundering. Currencies have been used for drug trafficking since the 60s in the American dollar, when it was thrown out of a pipe or aircraft in a duffel bag. The American dollar is also used by bad actors all the time.
Mr. O'Leary, I appreciate your point. So, Mr. O'Leary.
Now, let's go over this. Let's go over what was just said. It was a point that he was making. He's saying that obviously U.S. dollars are going to be laundered so much more or so much greater over the last, 70, 80 years than cryptocurrencies. It's just about control. And I've seen, Elizabeth Warren and some of her constituents there in the Congress talk about how bad crypto really is. I challenge Elizabeth Warren to go and do her own research on crypto. It is on blockchain and it is permissionless and forgiven. It's not forgiveless. That's why SBF, it's so easy to connect the dots. That's why we laughed at her and some of the news outlets like the New York Times and the Washington Post and Reuters and Fortune and Forbes, all those people, when they kept giving Sam Bankman-Fried a pass, when the crypto world goes, hey, connect the dots. The money went from here into SBF and then FTX and then went over to Alameda, and then from Alameda it went from there to there. You could read it instantly. This was a nightmare of huge proportions. When you're allowing some guy walking around town who's paid off your campaign contributions and you're giving him the free pass, until it got to a point where we're thinking that Carolyn Ellison, she got a reward there for telling on him that he's the one that was the head of it all. So with that being said, I really feel that this is just a witch hunt, a typical witch hunt, after which there was a lot of lots of things were exploited out here with this particular party, with the blue party. blue party, and that now they're trying to reel it all back in, try to control it. And so now let's go ahead and throw out some crazy guidelines or some crazy laws because of it. She's not the person to do it, and she's never been the person to do it. She doesn't understand it. I don't know why she's even here and having this conversation. She just wants the power. She cuts even Kevin O'Leary off. If you watch this whole 2-minute clip, if you watch even further, she keeps cutting him off when she doesn't like his answers. She wants it a lot more stricter. Next article. Crypto firm Binance says deposits returning after heavy withdrawals. Yeah, a lot of FUD out there. We kept hearing that the federal government was going to go after CZ, which he's right here. They're going to go, and they said that he did there was wire fraud, there was money laundering here as well. Guys, they've got to come up with it. I've heard all kinds of FUD. I heard employees are turning on him. I heard, the BNB, the Binance chain that he actually put together, the coin, that it's going to $50. It actually bounced. This was all FUD. This was a little bit of retaliation because I think that the powers that be that were receiving campaign contributions and monies from SBF, when he got caught, that little flow of money, or that big flow of money, just got cut off. So this is why the FUD's coming out with Binance. We know is BS. Let's move on. Crypto lending platform Maple Finance unveils major overhaul, stops lending on Solana. I think Solana is about the biggest scam. Let's read this. The improvements attempt to solve Maple's design shortcomings highlighted during a recent debt crisis, but they may reduce incentives on holding protocols and native MPL token in its new form. An analyst said, guys, this is the problem that we're having with every single one of these exchanges, every one of these lending platforms. They made their own token, and that made that token from worthless to worth something. So what's been happening, here's been where it's really happening out with a lot of them, with FTT token, with the Celsius token, with Voyager token. What they would do is they would give you these big high yields. Let's say you had Bitcoin or Ethereum, they're giving out 5% yield. Well, they wouldn't give it to you in Bitcoin or in Ethereum. They would give it to you in their own native token. And so the native token, which was worthless before, now has some value. And that's how they build wealth, is with making up crap off the top of making up coins off their head. This is where we need regulation. This isn't where we don't need regulation. This is, when we're looking at the anti-money laundering, if we go back to Warren, we want to have regulations in crypto. If we had regulations, none of this stuff would happen. But since they wanted it to be a Wild Wild West, because I think they wanted to move money all over the world, and they could do it what they felt was through crypto. Now all of a sudden, when they got caught, now they want to put these clamps on it. Well, let's begin with these lending platforms and their made-up tokens that have no utility except for giving out yield. And the second that they have a problem, their native token goes to zero, and all that money that's sitting on the platform, all your crypto sitting on the platform, now possibly you're not sure if they actually went ahead and leveraged that for other investments they have. That's why. Get done with this. Stops lending on Solana. Solana is just a joke. I think Solana is a made-up VC pump coin. Look who's all in it. SBF is all in it. He has 10% of all the coins. That's got to be some scam coin. Mr. O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful has it. There's a dozen of these big VC firms that own it. They are the ultimate pump and dump. They got caught with, lying about what, the amount of tokens that were out there on the market, how many total tokens there were. This was all lies. Anyone getting into it, buyer beware. You have your eyes wide open. Done. Next. All right. So I'm going to bring producer Emi on here. I know that she's a big proponent of paying 30% to Apple, aren't you, Emi?
I don't ever want to pay 30% to anyone.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow. Even if I carried your luggage to the gate.
Tipping is different than paying a fee.
Good. Well, this is kind of crazy, isn't it?
This is crazy. Yep. I agree.
One thing I've been saying now for a while, and I know me and you've had discussions on it, when you have an artist and they have their own music or they have their own NFT art, or they're just the younger, I wouldn't say younger, I'll say more unknown artists, it's tough to go and put your piece of art on a huge platform like Apple, and then you're giving a 30% royalty away.
Yeah, so almost any artist, if they want to get to that big platform, they're always going to be taxed to some sort of extent. In music, they most recently came up with something called the 360 deal, where no matter how much your stuff makes or sells, you get a specific amount of money. So like, I understand that the industries have changed and times have changed, but when it comes to Web3 and this type of space, it doesn't have to be like right. So we definitely have an opportunity to kind of change how things have always been. You know what I mean? I feel like people like to, well, this is how it's always been. Web3 is a completely different thing. So I think this is a really big deal, because if it's going to give these app developers a way to bypass that 30% tax, it's a tax because they're a monopoly, period. It's a big win for everybody.
So this is a very interesting article. It says Apple to allow third-party app stores in windfall for NFTs and crypto. But if we actually read this article, it looks like the European Union here just kind of forced themselves right on Apple, and Apple kind of capitulated here and allowed it to happen.
I mean, the European Union is a pretty big thing to go head to head with, you know what I mean? So I think it took something of that weight, you know, it has a bigger weight. I feel like it took something of that to get this to that point. But either way, however it's gonna happen, this is definitely a big win. So it says European customers. Does that mean that us being Americans, does that mean this does not affect us?
So we're gonna find out here, because it's gonna be tough. You know, they're already in a fight with Coinbase, right? And there was a big issue that's been talked about with Twitter and the blue check mark, right? It's cost $7 or $9 a month, right? And so, you know, obviously, do you want to have a separate payment system with Twitter, or do you want to go through the App Store? And if Apple's going to want 30% of $9, sounds pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how this all does get worked out. And I feel like this shows us that if a big enough giant kind of steps up to bat, maybe we can get it.
I think so, and I'm looking forward to it. I actually think the thing that you said at the very beginning was probably the most key part of this conversation. Web3's developed something where you're going through Web3 and you're able to download into your Apple phone, and it's just circumventing it. I know that, for an example, we talked about the library case, right? You know what library is for? It initially their idea, and it currently their idea is to upload videos on Web3.
I didn't realize
that. It was all about YouTube. And that's where some of us little conspiracy theorists think that's why SEC went after him, because YouTube pointed at him because they were starting to gain traction.
Interesting.
Right. And if, you know, that's a whole nother subject and what happened there. But I absolutely like the idea and all the murmuring that's going on, because the more anti-Apple stuff, they're going to have to capitulate a little bit here. You know, Apple met with Elon Musk about about 2 or 3 weeks ago, because they stopped advertising with them. Of course, the free speech, and there's free speech. Oh my God, if I have free speech, I have to pull my advertising off. Well, when they met with them, and that was like 7 blocks, they're like literally 7 blocks from each other. There was a rumor going around that Elon Musk might put out his own smartphone.
I liked that rumor. And I feel like these choices are always going to come down to dollars and cents. If you can really hurt their bottom line and what they're doing, they're going to have to pivot, because it's a business and the whole point of them is to make money.
Right. More competition for all of us.
Yeah, I agree.
Better for all of us.
Okay, and our next topic, can you read this for them, please?
FightOut crypto pre-sale launches. Why this move to earn project will be the next new token to explode in 2023.
Yes. Okay. So this is a very interesting project to me, where you'd be going through different fight-based workouts in order to earn crypto. So
wait, did you do fight-based workouts?
I do fight-based workouts. That's probably why I was partial to this story. Yep. They're probably like, why are there always weird combat sport things in here? It's me, guys. It's me.
Hey, Don't look at the pretty face. She'll beat you up all day long.
Come on down. You're a winner. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is being called Fight, money sign Fight. That's like the actual
coin,
the token coin. Yeah. This is a lot like the Step-In project right here. FightOut, is on a mission to transform the up to. This is worded very strangely. FightOut is on a mission to transform the up to now dominant Web 2 setup, but also to overcome weaknesses it has identified with Web 3 move to earn as currently implemented by projects such as Step-In. So it looks like they looked at Step-In and they were like, oh, that's cool. You can like move your butt, aka walk or jog, in order to earn crypto. Why don't we make it if you did a cool fight style workout, you could also earn crypto. So
well, we're hoping this is 2.0. Meaning that it's going to be the next evolution. Step-In, we got hot, then got cold. And again, we start talking about these tokens are just coming out of thin air, right? So I just go ahead and say, I have an idea. I have 1 million tokens, and now I'm going to say they're worth $5 a piece. And I went from a worthless token and
to it being worth whatever times 5. Yeah, so I feel like if you took something like FightOut and married it to the UFC gym.
See, there's a lot going on here. I love this girl's brain.
That would be, well, okay, because the UFC gym that's here in Orange that I actually started jiu-jitsu at many, many years ago closed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it closed. It's now called Glute Camp.
Glute Camp.
Instead of boot camp, it's
Glute Camp. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's take it one step further. That's probably one of the bigger, bigger arenas that you can go in here. But what about your arena?
Jiu-jitsu?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I really didn't realize how big jiu-jitsu was, and then you're telling me. So if this was something, wouldn't you be a good spokesman for this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Y'all can hit me up on Instagram. No, I'm just kidding.
What is your Instagram?
Nogi_Chunli.
Well, let's do me a favor. Go ahead and put that in the comments.
I'll put it in the description so you guys can hassle me or
you want to be involved in this because to me this is something that brings Web3 into your world.
It does, and I feel like trying to get into fitness, obviously it's a huge industry wise, and Web3 together, it makes a lot of sense to me. So very curious. Very curious.
Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us today. We went a little bit long, but we thought there was enough information here that would make you happy to stay to the end. You guys hit that like button. Otherwise, have a fantastic day.
Bye.